What if I told you that for thousands of years, humans weren't the only intelligent species on Earth? That long before skyscrapers and smartphones, there was another kind of human, stronger, stockier, and just as clever. So why are we here and they're not? This is the ultimate showdown. Neanderthals versus Homo sapiens, a real survival story written in our DNA. Let's go back about 400,000 years. Neanderthals, or Homo neanderthalensis, were not our ancestors, but our evolutionary cousins. They evolved in Europe and parts of Western Asia, long before Homo sapiens arrived on the scene. Adapted to the Ice Age environment, they were physically built to withstand the cold, thick bones, wide pelvises, and strong muscles. Their large nasal cavities helped warm cold air before it reached their lungs, and their shorter limbs conserved body heat. Evolutionary traits designed for survival in harsh climates. On the other hand, Homo sapiens evolved later, around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Compared to Neanderthals, they were more slender and agile, with a narrower build better suited to warm climates. Their skulls were rounder, their faces flatter, and they had high foreheads, features that allowed more brain area for advanced cognitive functions. Homo sapiens were physically different, yes, but it was their mind that truly set them apart. Though they evolved on separate continents, their fates would intertwine. For over 5,000 years, these two human species shared the same lands in Europe and Asia. They hunted the same animals, lived in similar caves, and probably even competed for the same resources. It was a time of coexistence and quiet conflict. If you put a Neanderthal and a Homo sapiens side by side, the differences are striking. Neanderthals were the Ice Age titans. Their bodies were short and broad, averaging about 5.5 feet for males, but weighing in with dense bones and thick musculature. They were not only stronger, but also more resilient. Injuries that would sideline or even kill a Homo sapiens might be survivable for a Neanderthal. Evidence from fossilized bones suggests they frequently recovered from broken limbs and skull fractures. Their lifestyles were brutal, but their bodies were designed for it. But strength isn't everything. Homo sapiens, while not as physically powerful, were the marathon runners of the ancient world. With longer legs and leaner frames, they were built for endurance. This physical structure allowed them to travel longer distances while hunting, and more importantly, to outlast prey in a type of hunting called persistence hunting, where the animal is literally run to exhaustion. While Neanderthals often hunted in close quarters using thrusting spears, Homo sapiens developed tools that allowed them to strike from a distance. Atlatls, throwing spears, and eventually bows and arrows. These innovations weren't just tools, they were strategic advantages in survival. So in a single combat scenario, the Neanderthal probably wins. But in long-term survival, strategy beats brute force. Here's the twist in the tale. Neanderthals had larger brains than us. That's right, their cranial capacity was actually slightly greater than that of modern humans. But brain size isn't everything, it's how you use it. Neanderthals were not mindless brutes. They made tools from stone and bone, crafted spears, and used fire. Some buried their dead, a sign of emotional complexity. Evidence from sites like Shanidar Cave in Iraq even suggests they cared for injured or disabled members of their groups, a form of social compassion. But Homo sapiens took it several steps further. We were artists. We painted animals on cave walls, carved figurines from ivory, and played flutes made from bird bones. This wasn't just creativity, it was symbolic thought. It meant we could tell stories, share beliefs, and pass on lessons across generations. We also built more complex tools, multi-part weapons, fishing nets, sewing needles. With better tools came better clothing, more effective shelters, and new ways to hunt and gather food. The explosion of creativity and adaptability in Homo sapiens is what we now call the Upper Paleolithic Revolution. And with it, Homo sapiens began to take over the world. You might think Neanderthals disappeared entirely, but they didn't. Thanks to breakthroughs in genetics, we now know that modern humans of non-African descent carry between 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. That means the two species didn't just fight, they mingled, interbred, and had children. This interbreeding happened mostly in Europe and Western Asia between 50,000 and 60,000 years ago, and some of that ancient DNA still affects us today. It influences how our immune systems respond to disease, how our skin reacts to sunlight, and even things like our sleep cycles. In a very real sense, Neanderthals live on inside us. They may have vanished as a separate species, but part of their legacy survives every time you look in the mirror. So why didn't Neanderthals make it? There isn't one single answer. But here are the top theories. Climate change. As the last ice age ended, their environment changed rapidly. The forests they depended on shrank, and the prey animals they hunted began to disappear. Homo sapiens were more adaptable and could handle new ecosystems better. Competition with better tools, language, and social structures. Homo sapiens could outcompete Neanderthals for food, shelter, and territory. In small populations, even minor advantages can tip the balance over generations. Disease. Homo sapiens might have brought diseases from Africa to which Neanderthals had no resistance. These pandemics could have devastated small, isolated groups. Absorption. As we interbred, the Neanderthal population didn't die out entirely. It was absorbed. Over time, their distinct physical traits became diluted in the much larger Homo sapiens gene pool. In the end, their extinction was probably a combination of all these factors, not with a bang, but with a slow fading of identity. Imagine a world where two types of humans lived side by side. Would Neanderthals have developed cities, language, and governments? Would we have different schools, different laws, even different sports leagues? Or would they be viewed as second-class citizens, discriminated against because of their differences? This isn't just speculation. In the animal kingdom, we see species coexist. Why not in humanity? Perhaps there would have been Neanderthal scientists, poets, or leaders, or perhaps humanity would never have reached the same technological heights due to conflict or division. One thing is clear: their extinction changed the course of history. With only Homo sapiens left, our species had full control over Earth's destiny. But in losing Neanderthals, we may have lost something beautiful, a different way of being human. In the battle of survival, Neanderthals were tough, but Homo sapiens were adaptable. We formed bigger groups, communicated better, innovated faster, and built complex societies. That's what gave us the edge. But let's not forget, this wasn't a story of conquest. It was a story of change, of interconnection, and ultimately of unity. Neanderthals may have vanished from the Earth, but they haven't vanished from our story. They are part of us, always have been. And so, the great clash of ancient humanity came to an end, not in a cataclysmic battle, but in something far more subtle. Over thousands of years, the Neanderthals disappeared, leaving behind bones, tools, and fragments of themselves within us. Today, nearly every non-African human carries up to 2% Neanderthal DNA. We didn't simply replace them, we merged with them. Their legacy lives on in our immune systems, in our genes, even in how we respond to certain diseases. They are not just our cousins lost to time. They are a part of us. Why did they vanish while we endured? Was it our greater adaptability, our capacity for complex thought, our stronger social bonds, or perhaps it was luck, a twist of fate in a long and unpredictable evolutionary journey? In the end, the story of Neanderthals and Homo sapiens isn't just a tale of survival or extinction. It's a story of shared ancestry, resilience, and the mysterious paths evolution can take. It reminds us that we are not the beginning, nor the end, but a single chapter in the epic saga of human history. So next time you look in the mirror, remember, inside you echoes the memory of another species, long gone but never truly lost. If you found this video fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more mind-expanding content, and drop a comment. What do you think would have happened if Neanderthals had survived? Thanks for watching, and remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about how we understand who we are.